Hey everybody, what is up? Fourth Seraph here, and today I'm letting you know about my new giveaway first. This is a giveaway for a pair of Turtle Beach Stealth 450 headphones for any console or platform. The giveaway is going to be ending January 16th. All you have to do to enter is click the like button and then click on the first link down in the description below. It's a Gleam link and it will give you lots of ways to enter. Anyways, let's get to the video. Call of Duty has always been a very graphically excellent game, and World War II was no exception. The graphics in it are amazing, but the more I played it, the more I began to realize something. Call of Duty World War II is kind of ugly. Despite the graphics being excellent, there is something about it that just bored me. It wasn't that there was something necessarily terrible, nothing that I could quite put my finger on at first. So I began to dive deeper and look into what it was that made me bored by looking at it. It seemed as if there was a lack of color, as if everything kind of was just a variation of gray, and while I agree that the game should be dark and gritty and warlike, there was still something that seemed different to me from other Call of Duties. No one would say that Call of Duty World at War or the Modern Warfare series were brightly colored games, yet there was something about them that looked better than Call of Duty World War II. Don't think that I'm trying to make the case that Call of Duty World War II should be like Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, or Advanced Warfare, filled with bright colors and things like that, but there is something about it that is unnecessarily ugly. We're going to now look at some screenshots that I've taken, and what I did is I took a screenshot of the game and then I brought that into Photoshop with a little bit of editing, adding things like brightness, contrast, slightly changing the levels to separate the colors more and add some more differentiation. When you look at the before and after picture, you will find that it is not more brightly colored. It doesn't look any more crazy and it doesn't look any more unrealistic. Yet when you add these changes to it, you can clearly see that something looks better. Now these are minute Photoshop changes. I am by no means an expert, but to me the second picture, the after, looks so much better. Each color is a little bit more clear. There is some clear differences where everything doesn't quite blend and mesh together as well. Each thing is more distinct as it is in real life. Things rarely look like each other. You don't look at something, and now I live in Washington State. It is a very, very gray place, especially this time of year where it is overcast 24/7. It never gets very bright at all, and everything still looks kind of gray. If I was to show you a picture of outside of my window, you would see that every color is still very clearly itself. It's almost as if there's a gray fog over the whole game of Call of Duty World War II, and there are some very visually spectacular things, but even oddly enough, the parts of the sky in each map that are the most beautiful and the most pretty, and by no means unrealistic or distracting, are always hidden. For some reason, the best parts of the map are always hidden in the very back where no one would ever really even think to look. The color direction and the design of this game is just very odd. It was acting like, in order for it to seem realistic, it almost had to look boring. Now, gray is not the color of war. I understand concrete and things like that. I'm not asking for those things to be changed. But the things that are colorful don't really stand out. It's as if they were very afraid to get away from gray. One thing that people often complain about with the last Call of Duties is how bright and colorful they are. Sledgehammer Games, though, should have seen through what people were saying and heard what they were trying to say. They went the exact opposite direction with it, saying people thought it was too bright and colorful, so let's make it gray and dark. When that is not actually what people were really complaining about. What people mean when they say it's too bright or it's too colorful is they actually mean it's too unrealistic. That was the real complaint of everything. It wasn't just the fact that people could double jump in the past games and fly around and do, but it made the game feel unrealistic, and people want, to a certain extent, some type of realism in a Call of Duty. Now, it is not true realism like as much as in Battlefield or a game like that, but it's some sense of realism still, and it got too far away from that. And so it's like the studio completely misunderstood what people were complaining about, and they said the answer to it is grayness. What people don't want is any type of color, so we will actually make the world more boring, more gray, and they have, in fact, made a world that is equally as unrealistic as is portrayed in the past few Call of Duties, but yet, on the other extreme, the pendulum has swung completely to the other side. Now, these are some things that I've noticed about Call of Duty World War II, and while they aren't game-breaking, they aren't terrible criticisms, they do make me feel somewhat bored after a while of playing, even compared to a game like PUBG, which is by no way graphically excellent. I still don't find myself feeling bored or uninterested with what I am looking at. There are still some amazingly beautiful things in a game like that. And especially when you have games out there like Battlefield 1, you have games like Overwatch, you have things that are so beautiful to look at. The list is enormous. A game that is mainly just described as a big gray blob is very uninteresting. It's like that episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where everyone becomes normal, but by normal, everything is just gray. What I'm most interested, though, is to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Is this something that you have noticed, or is it something that is unique to me? Do you feel like this game is beautiful, or do you feel a little bored with it and like they could do something still keeping the realism, still keeping the dark grittiness and the warlike feel, but making it look still a little bit better? And especially, I would love, after watching this video, if you go and play a few games and then let me know what you think. Does it change your opinion of how you see things, or am I just completely off and completely wrong here? But like I said, this is not game-breaking. This is not a huge bug or glitch, or to say that they made a terrible game at all. This is just something that I have noticed and wanted to talk about. Make sure to follow me on Twitch, guys. That is where I do most of my stuff. I try and get as many YouTube videos out as possible, but Twitch is really my first priority right now. You can also join my Discord if you're looking to talk, or if you want to find people to play with for Call of Duty, PUBG, Battlefield, anything, really. But until next time, guys, I will see you online.